Hello, family. Welcome. This is Gina with Bijoux Noir. You are tuned into the Blackness. I'm really happy to be here tonight. Haven't been here for a minute. Been missing you guys a whole lot. Very happy to be here. Not really here to talk about anything that, anything that's really, let me take that back. I am here to talk about something that should be important to us. We're here to talk about China, y'all, and we're here to talk about those mad threats, and we're here to talk about Pelosi, and we're here to talk about the fact that hate on Nancy if you want to, but she got balls, right? Or are they playing, good cop, bad cop? We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about what's up next. How does this impact us as a people? And are we really paying attention to China and how, China is, moving around, and how China is putting itself in a lot of positions right now. Right now, everybody's looking at this thing like it's a thing between the US and just the US and China, but it's really not, y'all. China is positioning itself. It's positioning itself for power. And this whole thing right here is about power. Of course, on all sides, what's happening in Russia, Ukraine, what's happening, how Pelosi responded, and how, now the ball is back on China's court after all the threats, how they will respond. It's a really serious matter. And the only thing I can say is, I don't know what we're doing with all of that and how we are wrapping our heads around all of this, because, and again, it speaks to me about something that Dr. Amos always talked about. Black people do not understand power. And it's funny because as this happens and what is happening in Ukraine is happening, I mean, I don't know if you guys understand this right here is happening on the eve of, okay, this could be the eve of a world war, because look at what's happening in China, with Taiwan, and how, this intervention with the US. Look at what's happening with Russia and Ukraine. Again, intervention with US and a whole lot of other folks. And then what just happened a couple of days ago? The man was sitting on his porch and got blew up. Just blew. Now we've got we're blowing people up, from the from distances, and we're talking about it as if we're proud of ourselves. Now, not to say that they don't deserve it, not to say that they do deserve it. I'm off the politics when it comes to that. What I do want to say is, do we understand what's happening in this world? And I want to talk to us. I want to talk with us. I want to see what you guys are thinking about this, and what's been on your minds. I mean, in the midst of all these people positioning themselves, and I don't know if you've ever been to a cockfight. See, I'm from the islands. I'm from Haiti. Shout out. I don't know if you've ever been to the cockfight, but if you ever been to a cockfight, you put these cocks out there, and they position themselves for power. And it's really the battle itself does not happen once they start fighting. The battle is the positioning. It's how these male chickens, I guess they call them chicken hawks, start positioning themselves and gearing up and for power. It's like bullfighting almost, So right now, where things are being poised, it's not just China, it's not just Taiwan, it's not just US, it's not just Russia, it's not just Ukraine. All of the powers are watching to see, because you see, let's look at this. If the US did not respond to what China said, what was those statements that he made, that he would shoot the plane down or something like that? If we did not respond, what do you think would have happened from there? It wouldn't have just been China. It wouldn't have just sent a message to China. This would have sent a message to Russia. It would have sent a message to the UK, to India, all these allies. All these so-called allies, it would have sent a message to them that we are wide open and that we are, taking threats. So ain't even gonna lie to y'all. When I saw Pelosi get on that plane, even though I'm not a born to be an American, proud American, I felt good about that because I felt I have to live here. I'm sorry, I have to be here. So it made me feel like, because I feel like if she did not get on that plane, then that means that we didn't have balls. And then it hit me. It hit me that that's what Africa is lacking. We are lacking balls. Do you get it? We don't have balls, because if this same scenario plays itself out in, let's say, Africa or Haiti or anywhere else, we lack the balls required to respond the way that the United States responded. We lack the balls that Nancy Pelosi had to just get on the plane and say, well, I'm going to get on that fucking plane because I'm a goddamn America. I'm American, and you can say what you want to say, but we don't take that. You know what I mean? That's just the reality of it. She played chess, not checkers with them. And you got to pay attention to the world, because right now all bets are off. These people are not playing checkers anymore. They are playing chess, and it's being played all around. And I'm telling you, they were not the only players. It wasn't just about China. It wasn't about Taiwan. There were other people sitting there waiting to see what the United States was going to do, how they were going to respond. Were they going to just sit down and do what China told them to do? Because if they did that, you know it and I know it. So that being said, I really wanted to come on here today to give you guys an opportunity, give myself an opportunity to, it's funny because, I have something that I'm going to be sharing with you guys. You as a diasporan, you as a descendant of an African, have a lot to do with these here Americas. Your ancestors fought to be here and fought the wars that were necessary to get this prime piece of real estate called America. We were frontliners. So that being said, this right here, if this fight comes to America, there's going to be nowhere that you could go to get away from it if you are here. So that being said, the way Pelosi responded, you better understand that was a good chess move, regardless of what you hear other people saying. If she had not responded, if she did not take her ass on that plane and act like she had the balls of America, we might as well have called it a day. It would have been open season for India, for China, for UK, for even some of these islands would have come after America. This was some real stuff. And I don't know, like I said, I don't know. After it all went down, I looked at my husband and I was like, wait, what do you think this was some good cop, bad cop situation where, the president was playing, because we Americans, right? We know how we do things, good cop, bad cop. If nothing else, we know how to good cop, bad cop. So I think that's what that was. And I know for sure that if America was not ready to deal with China, they wouldn't have sent that woman on that plane. I know that they wouldn't have done that. So, damn. That's all I got to say. It's all about, again, we're talking about power tonight, y'all. We're talking about this thing that we see happening in this world. It's happened a couple of times throughout, centuries, where people have gone throughout the map, the whole world, and they just put themselves in positions to take over. And it's funny because this is something that, again, I'm going to say we don't do well as a people. And we tend to like personalize it when people come and step all over us and not understand that this is how they play together. And this is a good example of how they maneuver and what's going to happen in the next couple of years, because it's not over, maybe even days or months. We don't know. This might be, we're sitting here every day not understanding that now this man, he put this out there. He put this in front of his people. that he was going to do A, B, and C. And this woman got on this plane and she did what he told her not to do. So now he's put in a position to respond. What do you think he's going to do? Well, let's get into it. You guys, share this live. Let's try to get some more folks on here tonight. I have missed you guys profusely. I'm going to have a good discussion tonight. I see a couple of people that I love. I see Amina. Hey, Mr. Shigwe. Okay. I know I'm mispronouncing your name. I see Gregory X. Nice to see you here, my brother. I see you, Mr. Summers. I love you. Okay, I see a lot of folks in here. Okay, Sweet Band 49, nice to see you. Love to travel. Thank you, sis. You guys, share the video. Let's get some more folks up in here. Share it on your social medias. I really want you guys to get in here and tell me what you think. What were you feeling when you first heard that Chinese, leader say, if she gets on that plane, he's going to shoot it down? We all understood what that meant at that point, because by no means, I don't care if we're black, I don't care what color you are in these here Americas. If he had shot that plane down, it was gonna be all out war. I saw some folks in the comment section, going, shoot it down. But that's not us. That's not us. No. And it's funny because you see, we black folks, we black people are the most loyal people of all things. We may not like you, but we ain't gonna let nobody beat you. No. It was funny because it was like I was sitting there thinking, oh my God, in this situation that we are in right now, if they were to bring war to these here Americas, I understood what our forefathers had to go through as slaves, having to fight a war for someone else. You know what I mean? And it's funny. I don't care if you agree or disagree, or if you feel like this person isn't right or isn't right with you, or is unfair, or Black Lives Matter. It doesn't matter, because if you're here in this territory, and another territory come and attack this territory, what is going to be your response? So before we do that, let's take a look at some of these exercises, because this is what China's been doing all day.
一定向发射阵地机动，在抵达射击地域后，分队迅速完成火箭弹装填、射击珠圆装订等实弹射击准备。随着指挥员下达口令，多枚炮弹扑向目标海域，精准命中目标。
我们圆满完成了，在坚定了官兵打赢信心。只要统帅一声令下，我们坚决做到炮听我的话，我听党的话，以昂扬的斗志、精准的火力捍卫祖国主权和领土完整。
中国人民解放军东部战区火箭军部队对台岛东部外海预定海域实施多区域多型号长导火力突击，导弹全部精准命中目标，检验了精确打击和区域拒止能力。整个实弹发射训练任务已经圆满完成，解除相关海空域管控。
So that's very interesting, right? So imagine, this is the kind of videos that they were putting out, basically showing us that, hey, this is what we can do, and this is what we're willing to do. And matter of fact, we're getting ready for it. And I want you guys to understand something. China made there was a couple of videos that I didn't share because I didn't want to bring it on here, but you guys have been watching it, right? You've heard some of the speeches that, that we're going to pay. There's been a couple of statements of that you're going to, that somebody's going to need to pay for this. So when you think of all of that, and you think of our positioning in this world, I want to welcome you back, sis, from the motherland. I'm so happy that you're back. Hey, thank you for coming through. Tell me what you think about what we're talking about. I don't even want to talk to you about Africa today, because I want us to spend a whole day, a whole night, just letting you tell us about your experience. We've missed you. Welcome back. Tell me what you think. You're coming back to this. What do you think?
I'm scared shitless, to be honest. like being in Kemet, I still been watching CNN and France 24 and BBC, and like my mind is just blown away. Like it's getting worse. I'm almost scared to turn the TV on. It's really scary, really
It's
scary.
but let me ask you something. What do you think our options are as a people? I mean, to be honest with you, I'm gonna tell you something. I don't think even if we want to be left out of it, they're gonna leave us out of it.
No, I agree with you.
Not
I
even the
agree.
continent, not even people on the continent, because they already started talking about um how the continent is going to be impacted, and I'm like, what the continent have to do with it? But I promise you that they're not gonna. It's not like you could just sit down and say, you know what, I'll pass. This is not my war.
No, I don't think we have the luxury of saying it. To be honest, I mean, although it may very well be true, I don't think I just don't think we have the luxury of saying, oh well, what does this have to do with me?
And what do you think now that you've been halfway across the world? What do you feel about our sense of power in this world? As a woman, as a Black woman, how do you feel in this time? And as far as all these other groups priming themselves, positioning themselves in a place of power, how does that make you feel in this world?
Honestly, I feel a sense of hopelessness.
Yeah.
I don't feel uh, I don't feel a warm and fuzzy feeling. I don't feel good about it. Um, I'm trying not to. My daughter said to me while I was abroad, she said, "Mommy, I think you gotta pray because I'm scared. I don't, from the wildfires going on you know, to the rumors of war, but we've had that." And
Yeah.
I tried to calm her down by letting her know that these things aren't new, and these rumors of wars and threats of war from Russia and all over in China and Northeast Africa have been going on before she was ever thought to be a spirit being coming into the world.
Yeah.
And I just tried to tell her, it's like, you can't be afraid. We have to, just, it's I don't know. I don't know what to tell her. Only thing I could tell her is that these things aren't new. And these threats have been long coming, and they're going to keep coming.
They're gonna keep coming. And
Yeah,
right
they are.
now, as prideful as Chinese people could be, and for them, pride is everything.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
they have.
that's a
What else do they
they
have?
they used to stab them. They used to stab themselves if they felt humiliated or
Japanese,
defeated.
yeah, Harry
Yeah.
Carey, yeah, Japanese were doing a
Was
minute.
it Japanese or was it
Yeah,
Chinese?
no, it was the Japanese. They
I
would
always
do
get them
that.
confused. But I
Hmm.
like the Jap. I don't know. Something about the Japanese seems to be a little cooler than the Chinese. Off topic, I know. But that being said, it just seems like they're the kind of people that wear their chip on their shoulder and everything is an insult. So this right here is a major, major, major. And it's like,
Well,
so
I
what do
like
you
North.
do with
I,
it?
I think like North Korea and China, because the rest of Western Europe says nothing. All they do is look the other way. But you know, um, Kim Jong Il, I believe, um, the current president of North Korea, he has said, as well as President Ping, have they've known, but now they've come out and said, "Look, America, you are the last people to be pointing fingers about somebody doing something to somebody,
Yeah.
about being inhumane to your citizenry. You've been doing that for centuries."
Yeah, I think it was what's his name? Louis Farrakhan.
No,
Said it.
no, no,
Okay.
but the president of North Korea has said the same thing.
Oh, wow.
And China's president has said the same thing when they were at the table, meeting with one another. So, you know, they're doing, like you always talk about, preservation, right? And, you know, for China, kind of like converting the Muslims to be like them, that's self-preservation, because if they look all around the world and they see how crazy the Muslims are and what they do to each other and what they do to other people who are brothers and sisters of Islam, but yet look slightly different than them, you know, they can't run the risk. So they have to do and convert them quick. And that's what they've been doing in China, in the mountains of China. That's what they've been doing. So, like you said, it's about self-preservation, and United States has a tendency to get in everybody's business.
Yeah.
I know, because of the fact that it's about their interests, solely about their interests. But some things you just need to like back away and mind your business, because it does not have anything to do with you. And that's between Taiwan and China. That's between them.
But it does have something to do with them. They are minding their interests. You know, America is not going to sit and do anything. Do you think they're doing it for the sake
No.
of democracy for
No.
Taiwan?
No, they could
Okay.
care. It's about their own self-interest.
And what? Okay, so that being said, we know it's not about the, you know, helping the love or respect or appreciation
has
for
something to do with it.
democracy. That's the stuff that's being put on
That's
the
the
table.
smoke screen. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's the smoke screen.
Just like, you know, anything else, just like China's not putting on the table what the real reason is also, you know, this territory that they are, you know, that China is calling the second China. Basically, it feels like, you know, for me, it's funny because when you think about it, I had to think about it from a Haitian perspective of, it's like the French coming back, right? And they did. It literally happened where we fought off the French, we won, and then they came back and, hey, this is our territory, and you took it from us, and, you know, basically you're our property, and, you know, threatened with guns. They came with like, I think maybe 20 ships or whatever, and basically was like, you owe us and this is ours, and that's why they were paid reparations. And so it's this has happened over and over and over again. This is the same type of thing. This is them coming to these people after these people basically had to fight for this space and say, hey, this is still our space and you belong to us. And basically the worst thing about it is it's like having that person that you know bullies you. And it's funny because we understand what's going on with Taiwan, because it's like you have this country that bullies you and tells other people that, look, if you want to do business with me, you can't do business with these people.
Right.
I have a clip I want to show y'all because it's very interesting. This whole Taiwan thing that's why I say everything is as above, so below. I truly believe that there is something spiritual, and you know, the physical and the spiritual are starting to come together.
I agree.
I'm gonna show you guys something because we're talking about Haiti. We're talking about a place that went through the same thing, not only with France, but also with America, because America did the same thing to Haiti as well. A lot of people don't know that. They basically held them into a gun with a loan after taking all the money out the bank. You know, millions of dollars worth billions of dollars today, all the gold from the bank, and then still had sanctions, still wouldn't do business with them until they decided till they went and stopped doing the things they wanted to do. Like they didn't want them to have their own markets. You would buy from us. You know, you could only eat our rice. You could only eat our potatoes. You can't have your own markets. And so this is the kind of stuff that China wants to do with and has been doing with Taiwan. And so I have a little bit of history. We could go through the history so people could understand the history of Taiwan. And then we're going to go into a little bit of why Then I'll teach you, and then I'll show you guys something about, and they're all short clips. Then we're going to look at something, a little something into what happened with Taiwan, because a lot of people don't understand this. I don't know if you know this, but when the Haitian president died, it was a day after he sent his ambassador to Taiwan, and he was told not to by China. So that's another fact that a lot of folks don't know about. So I have some very interesting clips for y'all, to say the least. So let's get into the indigenous, right? Who was on that island before China came? And these people that are there now are the Han, right? The Han people from China or from that other space. And they came before who was actually on that island? We all know that everybody on all these territories that are being used now by other folks were being used by indigenous people. Well, guess what? It's no different for Taiwan. I have some history on that. I thought you guys might be interested.
Taiwan's population is today over 90% Han Chinese, but their arrival to the island comes relatively late in history. I've written a bit about this in a prior article, but Taiwan's Han Chinese first began settling on the island some 400 years ago. Taiwan Island, however, at the time was not unoccupied. Taiwan's early Han Chinese settlers soon found themselves in conflict with Taiwan's Aborigines.
I want you guys to pay attention. So, the Taiwan people came from where they came from, and the Han Chinese, that's what they were. They weren't really Taiwanese. They weren't Taiwanese. They were Han Chinese people that came, and there were indigenous people there at one point.
The island's first inhabitants. This video briefly goes over the history of these unique and special peoples as a whole. I hope in the future to put out more videos focusing on specific tribes so to help tell their own individual story. But, can't get everything at the same time. Let's start with the tribes themselves. The Taiwanese indigenous people fall into two large categorizations. You have the mountains and the plains peoples. The Taiwanese government recognizes 16 mountains peoples. 9 of those have been recognized since the Japanese colonization period. The others received official status after democratization, or in the 2000s. There are a few other ethnic groups and tribes that have yet to receive official government recognition but maintain a distinct ethnic and societal identity. The Plains peoples are...
So what we're looking at now basically are the people that came into the territory. These are the Han Chinese. They came into the territory where the indigenous people were.
Bit harder to distinguish due to heavy intermixing with the Han population. Just 2 have received government recognition. The Kavalan of Ilan, they share a name with the whiskey. I actually don't think they make it. And the Sakazaya people of Hualien, though the Sarayas people, their status is impending. The PRC rejects these categorizations and groups all of the Taiwanese aboriginal tribes into one category called Gaoshan. They make up one of the state's 56 recognized ethnicities alongside the Manchu, Zhuang, and others.
Fun fact, I have another clip. I'll put it in the description. These people that are presenting themselves as the indigenous people now are not the indigenous people. The Dutch were the first people to actually meet up with the indigenous people, and they have recollections of the indigenous people being completely different, and a little darker, hair a little woollier. So even the people that are now calling themselves the indigenous people, not the indigenous people. But if you look up the names of the tribes, they are definitely connected to Yoruba, to the people of the West African region, which is weird because that's some of the research that I'm still looking into. But fun fact, we'll talk about that later. Let's continue.
We don't have much written history of the Taiwan indigenous people before the Dutch arrival in the 17th century. Much of what we know about that time is based on linguistic studies and archaeology. Archaeological studies in Tainan date human habitation to at least 3000 BC, maybe earlier. A sophisticated society occupied Taiwan at the time, with domesticating pigs and dogs, pottery, and even more. It is theorized that they first emerged from the southern Chinese Dayak populations, considered the original habitants of southeast China.
Yeah, these people are definitely the Han mixed with indigenous, but not quite the indigenous people.
Coast, and today one of its largest populations after the Han peoples themselves. There are two very brief testimonials from Han adventurers during the Song and Yuan dynasties in the 11th and 14th centuries, respectively, about quote-unquote island barbarians, which historians generally believe refer to the Taiwanese.
They call them barbarians. Why do these people go into people's spaces, see them, and then call them barbarians? I will never understand how you come homeless, wanting place to stay. You find me in my home, but I'm the barbarian? You come without a home. You come looking for a home, but I'm the barbarian. You come looking for precious stones that belong to me. I was here first, but I'm the barbarian. Right.
Aborigines. Another more reliable source goes back to 1603, when a Chinese traveler named Chen Di arrived at what is now Anping in Tainan and reported meeting very diverse peoples living in villages.
Very diverse people living in villages. Keep in mind, he said very diverse people because you know what? That's what the Dutch researcher that I was researching said. But he didn't say only that they were diverse. He said that they resembled people that he saw in Africa. This is interesting, y'all. This gets even more interesting because I don't want to share that research yet until I've verified some information. But these people are fighting for territory that don't even belong to them. But they've been doing that all over the world. It's just funny to me that you're sitting here blowing up. You're sitting here. What is he doing? They're sitting there throwing rockets in the air, destroying Mother Nature. Because they're doing it in places where, you know, affecting the trees, the environment, putting all that shit in the air and just, throwing bombs all over the air, making all kinds of threats, wanting to destroy human life. It's funny how easy it is for people to discuss or create things to take life. But none of them can even understand how life begun. None of them can even comprehend, how many cells or how intricate the body is. None of them really have gotten to the point where they can heal some of the elements that life, but they can create things to take life out. And this is a part of it because you see, it's important that we understand that these human beings that we see fighting all over the world they've been doing this forever, y'all. This is nothing new, and it's funny. I don't want to take anything away from the Taiwanese, but they did it to someone else. They went there and they took over somebody's space, and basically because they felt like these people were less than, they took it over. That's just what these people have done throughout the world. Well, I don't know. Maybe we're guilty of it too. I don't know. Have we done that? This is something that I've yet to come across, but it seems like there's quite a few people in this world that just goes around, destroying life and the elements that, make life great and just everything, all the resources around it, like, all that ammunition being wasted. But there are people in this world that cannot eat. Can you imagine that these people have so much gunpowder? They have so much missile power. They have so much destruction that they have their hands on, ready to just blow it all up, but they cannot feed the poor. Hunger is still an issue. People do not have homes, and people are struggling, and they're talking about famines might be happening, but they got enough guns to threaten lives because this is the only way that they can secure peace. To secure peace, somebody needs to be in power. And that's what we're here to talk about today, y'all. We're here to talk about that thing called power, because it was power that was used for them to go and take this land from the indigenous people. Let's continue.
These villagers knew basic agriculture, made alcohol from fermented rice, and hunted deer. They practiced headhunting and did not wear clothes. If you visited Tainan before, you can probably guess why. It's really hot over there. They had established laws and traditions against theft and other deviant behavior, so they weren't exactly country bumpkins. The Dutch would arrive 20 years later to colonize Taiwan, the first in a long line of foreigner intrusions. They established a fort in Anping and founded what is now the city of Tainan, establishing contacts with the natives for trade.
I'm going to pause right here. I want you guys to take a look at this right here. And then I want you to look at the rim. I want you to look at the rim of this, the frame. And I want you to tell me, anybody that recognizes this, anybody that knows anything about your African history, tell me if you see something. And this goes back to maybe three. They're saying that this is an old print of, going back. Now, I want y'all to look at the rim of this and tell me if you recognize it. And if you don't recognize it, I need you to go and look it up. You see this right here, it looked like a maze. This is an African print right here. I believe it's for the Yoruba, but not sure, but this right here is an African print.
Is it? I was also thinking
and
Inca,
I think
Mayan also.
Well, it goes actually back to Africa, and a designer uses it as well. What's that thing that everybody likes to wear? I'm not into designers, y'all.
Indrinka symbols like in Ghana.
Some designer that everybody likes to get, but the one with the I don't know if you're looking, not the red.
Oh, you mean the black trim?
The black one, the zigzag one.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and it's
like
funny,
Samoan. You know how the Samoans, how they have the skin tattooing.
Yeah, and it's funny because you see, it's funny because when you look at these things, and you see how they made their buildings like in the circular, just like they did in the Benin.
Mm-hmm.
The wall looks like almost like the Benin wall.
Yeah.
With the I'm sorry, somebody's gonna have to get that door. It looks like the Benin wall, and when I saw this, it was just like, wow. You know what I mean? It reminded me of that, and it was just, that's what it is. Yes. And Kara, yes. Yes. Okay, so that's what it reminded me of, and it was remarkable to see that. And it's funny because I promise you, we need to start looking at things like this and understanding that when you see things like that, the root of it is us. Mm-hmm. And so we could go back to that. Interestingly, this conversation is still about Taiwan. It's still about China. But I needed you guys to understand the history, because everybody's talking about this thing about democracy. Well, this democracy wasn't shown to the indigenous people. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go grab the door and let this video play, y'all.
They describe meeting the same tribes Chun saw 20 years earlier. A census taken in 1650 shows some 68,000 people across 315 villages, though to note, this census only covers a very small swath of Taiwan. Throughout the 1600s and 1700s, a variety of governments attempted to take over Taiwan. The Dutch, the Spanish, a Ming-era pirate called Koxinga. Little records exist about how the Aborigines acted or were administered then. It appears that the prevailing government policy at the time was to stay the hell away. Here comes the Han. I would not say that things were entirely peaceful between the various Taiwanese tribes as it was, but the arrival of the Han settlers in the 17th century definitely did not help things. The huge influx of Han people to Taiwan disrupted populations and tribes across the island. Vicious conflicts pushed tribes from their original locations to new ones, triggering chain effects. Some went into the mountains, others resettled in eastern Taiwan. For example, let us take the Siraya people living in southern Taiwan. At the beginning of our recorded history, this tribe of peoples originally occupied the agriculturally rich south-central flat plains of West Taiwan. This area now spans Jiayi and Tainan and is the single largest plain on the island. But during the Qing dynasty, Han settlers arriving from the Fujian and Guangdong provinces began pushing the Siraya people eastward to the foot of Taiwan's mountains. However, this area was already occupied by the native Taiwan tribes. The fierce Saraya peoples pushed the Taiwan tribes further and further inland to as far as the central mountain range, where they remain there today. None of this went along peacefully. Qing-era documents record administrators' constant attempts.
How did it go along peacefully when you're being pushed and pushed and pushed? How do you push somebody peacefully? He said, wow, this went along peacefully. You got to give it to them. They make it seem so simple.
It's whitewashing.
They were pushed to the mountainside. He said, wow, this went along peacefully.
I doubt that very seriously.
You're like, what the heck just happened? How do you get pushed to the mountainside peacefully?
Mm-mm.
How do you leave all the vegetation places and all the places that you built your homes and access to the ocean and where fishing is and access to, I'm sure, the best waterfalls, and you're pushed to the mountainside and he said, wow, this went along peacefully. Catch it, y'all. You gotta catch it when they give it to you, because it's interesting, because to be even, you see, from the mouth of a descendant of a colonizer, he could understand the colonizing mind. Like, it's a peaceful thing to just push people to the point where they no longer exist. Absolutely. You pushed them up the mountain. You pushed them, through the mountain, over the mountain, so they get into the ocean. I don't know where you're pushing them to, but it's done peacefully. How do people move themselves peacefully? People don't just because somebody move in a neighborhood, you just go like, well, let me move peacefully. No, you make these people feel very uncomfortable. You treat them badly. You might even torture them or do terrible things to them, and then they have to go hide in the mountains. That's what they go do. They go find somewhere they could be far away from you and your barbarian ass. That's
Sounds
what you
like
do.
Maroons, right? Like,
yes. Why would, and the funny thing, they call these people barbarians, but
that's
why are they running from you? Barbarians seem like they would be like, you would be running from them. You only go somewhere, you only go to somebody's house that is peaceful and take over. You ain't gonna come to somebody's house that's like, why, take your shoes off. Oh, you can't sit there. I mean, like, they at you every step of the way. You're not going to feel comfortable doing whatever you want in somebody's house like that. But if that person says, make yourself at home, no, do whatever you want, you might do whatever you want.
Yep, because they did.
So they were the peaceful ones. And I guess maybe he was trying to, maybe it was a joke. Maybe he was trying to say they were peaceful and the other side wasn't.
Well, history is written by the victors, right? And, right. The way they write it is through their own interpretation of it. And it's like, Dr. Joy DeGruy always says, if you dehumanize a people,
right,
then and don't look at them as you, then it's easy to dehumanize them and kind of basically rip them of all their humanity. Thereby, it's okay for you to treat them the way you treat them. But it's a psychosomatic type of perception, right, also. Right. And it's their way of trying to whitewash history, and downplay the violence. It's like a page out of the playbook that the Neanderthals have always played by. So now, the rest of the world has been taught with a Western mindset that this is the way to do it. And so I think everybody has drank that Kool-Aid when they're speaking about these narratives. But if you go back to the Indigenous and let them tell their own story about how things happened,
it wasn't so damn peaceful. Exactly. It was so peaceful that you can't even find them anymore.
Yeah,
you just see a whole bunch of Han people that got a little bit of tint, and that's it. And then they like, these are the original Aboriginal. Like, no, bro, that's not the Aboriginals. They wasn't even looking like that. That's not what the writers. I'm gonna tell you something about the Dutch, y'all. It's funny because in most of my research that I do, and I am into research, I love it. I love history. I love research. I love sitting in front of old people and them telling me stories. I love all that.
You learn.
I love all that shit. So my thing is, when the Dutch kept, if you ever want to get thorough history, the kind of history that's just honest and unwashed. Just go to Dutch, go to or Denmark. Oh my God, these people, it's like they wrote it, they ain't erasing it. That's it.
Yeah, I'm
but
ashamed.
it was less whitewashing. That's what I'll say. There was less. I'm not gonna say there wasn't any whitewashing, but there was less. So let's continue. I know you guys want to know more about what the peaceful pushing. I ain't never seen no peaceful pushing in my damn life.
To mediate peace between the Han and the Aborigines, such attempts very often failed, resulting in the famous Qing era saying, every 3 years an uprising, every 5 years a rebellion. In 1871, 66 Japanese sailors found themselves shipwrecked on southern Taiwan Island.
Woo, let's take a look at this picture. And this was not even like, ain't no damn 1876. But take a look at these people. They don't even look like them now. They look a little bit mixture, a little bit more mixture. They look like they got a little bit of Han in them. But yeah, you can see a little bit of melanin still on that skin. You can see that melanin still pouring, even though their hair is a little different, but the melanin is still on the skin. But these people that are there now, those are definitely Chinese people. And they need to own that. You pushed them right off the damn island. That's what you did. Into the ocean.
Warned against traveling deeper inland by the local Chinese, who also robbed them, they nevertheless went westward.
You heard what he said? Who also robbed them? He kind of like, what?
And met the Taiwan tribespeople. What happened next remains murky, but the result is...
Oh shit, did he just say what happened next remained murky? That's the part you need to go research. Whenever they start talking about murky or they're not sure of what happened next, the dark ages, that's the stuff we need to know. I want to know what happened with the murky stuff. What happened next became murky. That's the stuff that we want to know.
54 of the sailors were slaughtered by the tribe outside of...
Oh, you see that? What happened next became murky. The next word he talked about was somebody was being slaughtered. It's words. Your word is power. You see, I didn't even know what he was going to say all the way because I kind of skimmed through this. I was more reading a lot of the comments when I first found this a week ago. But when he said murky, I knew there was something there. So there was a lot of slaughtering going on. So the little pushing that was peaceful ended up being some slaughtering.
A trading post. This incident turned into an international crisis. The Japanese used it as an excuse to send a ship to Taiwan, so to punish the quote-unquote savages, a move universally condemned by the international community as a move against Qing sovereignty. The Japanese did indeed attempt to colonize the island and put settlers there, but the Qing eventually paid them off. The Qing administration...
I want y'all to pay attention to how these houses are built too. Tell. Them's our people. Or they are people's children's children mixed with the Han. But these are the things you pay attention to: the infrastructure, the way they created things, the way they cooked, the way they prepared their foods, the way you see, this is how the root is always in those cultural things. Because what I'm starting to realize is that the way that they wiped out the indigenous was the same way that they did with some of the people, let's say in Belize. Well, not Belize. What do you call that place that men, black men like to go and get their groove on? What's that place? It starts with a B. What's that place? Brazil. Yes. Amina, you got it. Black men. Every black man love Brazil. Why do they love Brazil? Because they got the right amount of Caucasian in them women. All right, y'all, I didn't come for that tonight. I'm sorry. But okay, so that being said, let's get back on track. Woo! Okay, so that's what you pay attention to. You pay attention to the infrastructure. You pay attention to the way the houses are built. You pay attention to the way they cook, some of the tools that they use. That's how you find the root of these people. Cultural things. This is the stuff that we need to be paying attention to when we're watching history or learning about certain people, because you see, the indigenous people, that they've changed. They've, in some places, man, I promise you, when he said that word slaughter, it was like that in some cases. And yes, there's been a whole lot of revisionist history, but I'm telling you something, it's been like that throughout the world. I don't know. Even our people is guilty of that in some ways. We just because we we got some black colonizers out there as well. We're going to talk a lot about these black colonizers too, because they're the ones. That's why we are in a position of non-power. Because, what we're talking about today is power. These people were not in a position of power. These folks came in and they were peaceful people. You cannot let somebody come to your house and you be at peace with them. People have to learn. People have to earn respect. People have to earn peace. You got to give people hell. You got to make people understand. You got to put the fear in them before you give them peace. And we've always been the reverse. We come, and we're offering you the bed. We'll sleep on the floor. We'll give you the cup and we'll drink out of our hands. We'll, make sure that you get the best cut of meats. We'll make sure that, some tribes I heard even offer up their wives. So these are the things that we did as a people to basically, let people know that we were not so powerful. I mean, when we think about how when Columbus went to all the places that he went, what did he say, Amina? What did he say about the people that he met, the indigenous people that he met? You're still on mute. He said
that they were savage. They were savage. They were
no. But they were peaceful. Remember how he said that they were. They
peacefully moved them. They peacefully went away. Nobody peacefully goes away out of their homeland.
They're not apt to war. These people they're willing to give you anything. They're not apt to war. They're
Well, that sounds similar to Gina. I'm sorry to cut you off. It sounds similar to what the Dutch said about the South Africans when they came on the shores of South Africa. And they said, hey, we don't mind sharing some land with you, but you can't take it over. If you want a little piece of something for yourself, we don't mind sharing.
And that wasn't supposed to be the way we were supposed to be. You see, but the problem has been, the position of power is, what the hell are you doing here? You got to leave or you will die tonight. Because you see, this is the thing. You don't give people a place before you don't make people feel comfortable. It's funny because let me give an easier example. When people come to your house, you make them take off your shoes.
Right.
You tell them, you tell them where to sit. You don't let them choose their seat. Please, make yourself comfortable here. Or you could say, please, choose anywhere. Make yourself comfortable. I'm going to tell you something. The difference between the person that you tell them to make themselves comfortable here and the person that you tell them to let them choose wherever they want to sit is that person is on guard. They know that you ain't playing about your space. You decide what happens in your space. They can't just come in there with their shoes. They don't decide where they want to sit. You decide what bathroom they go to. They don't get to go upstairs. You decide if they're hungry. Let me know if you're hungry. But you tell somebody, if you're hungry, feel free to go in the kitchen and fix yourself something. You know what you done did? Do you know what you done did? And this is what we are. We're the kind of people that we just open up our kitchen. We open up our doors. Even if we take our shoes off when we come out our house, we don't feel comfortable telling somebody else to take their shoes off.
That's a problem.
Even if we sit on that white couch in the front room, you know what room I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. The one with the covers. The plastic covers. The one with the plastic covers on.
Grandma used to have the plastic on, but we don't have the plastic on, and we be looking like, don't y'all go in that room. Even if we don't get to sit in there, we be looking at them like, sit anywhere you want, and they go plop themselves on that white couch, and you be looking at them like, you want to tell them you don't want them to sit there, but you don't. You don't, because you want to be polite. And they kept us this
way. To what
way.
extreme, though, Gina? To what extreme?
And so my thing is this, you see, but this is something we've done. This is something we've done. It's funny. I was talking to somebody tonight, and I'm like, we invite people to treat us a certain way based on how we teach them to treat us. So these people were polite. They were politely pushed. They, with no problem up the mountains. They just kept pushing themselves, making room, to the point where these people were like, you don't even belong here. They come to your house and you making room for them, and next thing you know, they looking at you like, why are you here? This is my house. And now you got to go get a restraining order, and they know the judge, so it ain't working for you. Power. It's about power. It's about power. It's about power. It's about power. This world is about power. It's about power. And you know what? It feels good. I'm going to tell you something. I was sitting there watching Pelosi when my husband told me. I didn't know because I heard the news. First, I heard that, Biden told her not to go. And then I heard, the China's threats on, if you go, this is what's going to happen. My American antenna set up like, no, the fuck he didn't. And of course, like the good house slave let me not say that. Of course, like the good American I am, because I've been here and I live here, when I heard that she got on there, I was like, hell yeah, that's right. And then I realized it wasn't her, it wasn't the situation, it's not America, it was power. Power felt good. Power feels good. Don't it? I mean, to be able to step up to the plate when somebody knocks a chip off your shoulders. Power feels good, but these people, these indigenous people, and I'm going to go back to the recording, didn't have that power. Our people in Africa didn't have that power. And I'm sorry to say, those people in Haiti, when the French came calling, lost that power. When the Americans came calling, lost that power. They didn't have the power. So they became they became powerless. When you see places like that are defeated and encapsulated by a situation, and you're looking at them and you're like, well, why don't they have any? Why aren't they? No. Once you have rendered yourself powerless, guess what? Everybody, because like I said earlier, y'all, this was not just about China. And it damn well ain't about Taiwan. All the world leaders was looking, because America's the big fish. It's that dog in the yard that other dogs are afraid of. We know it. That's why everybody gets on these boats and come here. That's why they get these visas. They marry fat women, ugly women, old men. That's why a lot of these white women in Russia and Ukraine are marrying all kinds of dweebs and fat white, whatever. They marrying all kinds of men that they would not have married. They're doing whatever they can do to come have babies here in America, because America is the land of what? Strong. America's the land of strong. It's powerful. Fuck what you heard when she got on that plane. It spoke to the world. It said something. It said, I don't know what the fuck you heard about me, but I'm still powerful. And then not just that, on the eve of that, the same week, what did he do? What did they do? What did America do? What did we do? I have to say we, because if there is if there's gonna be some, somebody gonna do something about it, it's gonna affect us. We here, those of us that are in America. If that bomb gets thrown, it gets thrown on all of us, right? So I feel like we have the right to talk about it, damn it. So that same week, not only did she get on that plane, we found a way to precision a missile to the time, to the precise point where it hit somebody. I mean, where did that missile come from? Do you guys understand where that missile came from? That missile came from across the world, yo. Hit that man while he was sitting on his fucking porch. You understand that? That's power. That's power. What's that again? Let me show y'all that little red sign just in case I ain't saying it. That's what that is. And it happened on the same week. It wasn't coincidental. And it wasn't. It's like, I gotta. You can't sit on your porch and drink some tea. There was other people on that porch. It just hit him. Could you imagine? So let's go back to the clip, y'all. Put a 1 in the comment section if my 26 people viewing me missed me. I missed y'all.
The administration at this time did not realize that the Japanese were trying to claim sovereignty over a part of Taiwan Island, but then again, they really did not have much control over the Aborigines anyway, nor were they much competent in of themselves. In 1895, the Qing ceded Taiwan Island entirely to the Japanese, and now the Japanese had to take control and put control of this woolly frontier land. Twice in 1907 and 1915, the Han and the Aborigines stopped fighting against each other and united against the intruders. But the Japanese would eventually succeed in a divide and conquer strategy, subduing the Han population and leaving the Aborigines on their own. The Japanese waged a series of vicious campaigns against the Aborigines, seeing them as uncultured savages. Mountain tribes would continue to...
Does that sound familiar? So they not only slaughtered a good majority of them, they went on a couple of smear campaigns saying that they were savages. Man, these people sound like... Don't they sound like that? Same stuff happened to... So they went on a smear campaign calling these people savages. Sound familiar? Sound familiar?
Wage guerrilla warfare for decades, with the Japanese resorting to electric fences and aerial bombardment of certain villages. Japanese allied Aborigines were employed against rival tribes to retaliate against and suppress quote-unquote uncultured peoples, with the reward of getting their land when they were successful. It was hard times for everyone back then. Over time, the Japanese colonial system shifted from hard suppressive tactics towards cultivating a feeling of togetherness as Japanese subjects.
So, I'm going to tell you something I've learned about narcissism. What I've learned about a bully, I used to be with a bully. I used to be with a narcissist person. And I'm going to tell you something. This is what you do. You beat them down and then you lift them up and then you say, we are one. It's like, not only do you break them mentally, emotionally, and by then these people were not even fully Han. Maybe this little girl right here in the back, you see the little brown one. They put a little brown one in there. Anyway, you see a little brown one? Okay. So by then they were already mixed, but they had some sense of that they were pure. They were not pure. Pure Han or pure whatever, Japanese. So in essence, when you're the way you assert your power on people is very interesting. First, you apply pressure. You gotta apply pressure. You gotta, and then you gotta, if you're really good, if you're a good narcissist, if you're the kind of narcissist power, then you gotta you show them that, look, you did this because you were trying to make them better people. You were trying to civilize the savages, and we got to come together because we're in this together now that I have everything. All right.
Of the emperor, Taiwanese people, Han and Aborigines alike, would be recruited to fight alongside other Japanese during their wars of conquest in World War II. But then the Japanese lost World War II and were forced to cede Taiwan to the Republic of China. The Kuomintang takeover resulted in a new policy.
Some more power, y'all, back and forth. China, Japan, China. These poor indigenous people is just being, fling-flanged. Just, don't that sound familiar? This being fling-flanged between the powers, I know Haiti went through that. It was the French, well, it was Spain, then Britain, then the French, and then America. This is what powerful people do. They sitting there, and you just a tool in between all that they trying to do. You're just on the chessboard, being moved. Thrown off the cardboard, whatever game thing, whatever. Hopefully you got a wooden chessboard, and that's really fly because the cardboard one is kind of whack, but the wood. Okay, but you understand what I'm trying to say. That's what you is. You're movable. You're not that important. You're not the player. You're just a piece. And that's what, don't that sound familiar? Ain't that familiar? I'm just saying, I just find a lot of this stuff familiar. It's just so familiar. Okay, so let's go back.
Inculcating a feeling of Chinese nationalism into the Taiwanese people. This would in turn change as Taiwan moved from feelings of Chinese nationalism to Taiwanese nationalism, encouraged by the DPP. Regardless, being separated from and largely ignored by the majority of Taiwanese society has cost the Aborigines in their economic development at the very least. Many live in areas far away from Taiwan's economic centers.
So think about it. Being flim-flamed, you basically, and then you end up the poorest people, even though you're the first people. I'm going to tell you something, man. That sounds familiar too. How are you from the land? You're the first one there. We all know they came from Africa. We all know that. But they were the first one that got there. Damn it. So says the Dutch that was there before all the other folks. So that being said, how you gonna get there first, but you last? It's like you ran a race. You finished, you got through the finish line, and then they gave the person that came in behind you the prize. You sitting there sweating, tired. You won. That's what power does. It don't matter if you win. When you got power, you don't have to win. You just take other people's stuff. All right, let's finish it.
Cities or villages on the east coast, like Hualien or Taitung, or up in the mountains like Nantou. Studies have found that up to 50% of Aborigines work in blue-collar, semi-skilled, and unskilled jobs, though I'll always say that fishing and farming requires more skill than soft-bellied office workers like me. This has become more of an acute issue as Taiwan's economy moves away from heavy industry and construction towards advanced technology. And then in the 1980s, large numbers of illegal foreign labor from Southeast Asia began affecting the blue-collar market. The amount of days urban Aborigines have been able to work were cut by more than half as they...
Don't you love now? This is like the same thing with the North American Indians. Now they got a whole bunch of Han, Chinese, Japanese mixed people together calling them indigenous. And they put on these little colorful outfits because, of course, that's what the people were wearing back then. Of course, this was their style. This was their style. Half African gear, half Chinese, half Japanese, half whatever else is going on with that. And it's funny because these people are truly all of those things. And they're representing all of those things. But what they are not is the original people. They've been depleted. Their DNA has been depleted and they've lost all of that. I want to tell you guys something, right? I wanted to take this in a different direction, but I felt like we had to, you know, all these people fighting about something that they stole from other folks. All of them. The people that were on a lot of these in these spaces, a lot of these spaces in this world never fought for it. Never fought for it. It's the people that that came in and the people that they were calling the barbarians was never as barbaric as they made it seem to be, to say the least.
They found themselves unable to compete with illegals working at 2/3 of the normal salary. One also should mention allegations of prejudice and discrimination. Many local employers are Han, a different race, and interviews with those Han have found them holding stereotypes of Aborigines being lazy, ungrateful, and prone to drinking. The Aborigines, on their part, would prefer not to be overworked with unending amounts of overtime for pay so little such to be at the point of slavery, which is basically how the illegal foreigners are treated.
So these people are still being treated. This is modern. He's talking about now, as of now. Sounds familiar? Oh, you on the same mode that I am, Amina. I see your statement. You like sound familiar yet? Sound familiar, y'all? So in this time right now, even though these here 2% Aboriginals. Put a 1 in the comment section for my 2% Aboriginals, y'all. You know, the sad thing about it is that these people are Chinese, Japanese, and they're treating them like that just because they may have like 2% or 3% Aboriginal. These are their children. They know these weren't the people that they found over there. They know that these people did not look like that and did not look like that. This is a mixture of something. And it's funny because I'm not trying to say anything, but even in the clothing, you see the confusion. You could see that in Africa too, in some places too, where there's so much mixture of different cultural, or that you tend to see that it's like the mind. And it's in people, you cannot tell me that DNA don't do anything to your mind, because it truly does. Because you could tell, I mean, even from a mixture of just a white man and a black woman have a child, that child has a different sense of style. Let's say that maybe a plain white person or a plain black person would have. And if you put that thing and you stretch it more and you put more into breed, it's like you could tell that person. And sometimes it's a fly thing. Sometimes it's a thorough thing. And other times it's like this, where you're holding on to a whole bunch of stuff, and people, indigenous people, especially those that consider themselves indigenous, like these so-called North American Indians, these so-called Tainos, because they're not fully Tainos. Most of them are half European, half whatever, maybe 3% Indians. They have a sense of they're trying so hard to hold on to this indigenous thing that they're making up these styles, and I'm not putting anything down because I'm a little bit of indigenous. I'm a mutt breed. I'm a part of the mutt breed. I'm a part of the mutt breed, so I should be able to speak about myself. So there's an awkwardness in the way that you think, in the way that you see things, and you could sense it right there. You could see it. And my thing is, you would think that with as much Japanese blood and as much Han blood that these people have, that they would give them more love. It's a democracy. We're talking about the Taiwanese now. They're in Taiwan, but they're being treated less than because they have that indigenous blood. You know what that means when they say that indigenous blood, yo? That blood that goes back to Africa.
If you're feeling the vibe, like, share, and subscribe.
All right, let's continue.
And unlike the illegal foreigners, they can always go back and start and till their land. You can see how bad things can happen from this. Add to this intergenerational wealth issues, where poverty being so hard to escape from and getting transmitted from one generation to the next, as in addition to the racial resentments on both sides, it causes a lot of problems, basically. These are all ongoing social issues.
That's what I was saying, man. It seems like we agree on that. It causes a lot of problems. It's funny because, you're hated on both sides. And your indigenous side is far from you. And the sides that are closer to you, because when you look at these people, you see Japanese, you see Han, but you're hated on both sides. It's kind of like us, the diaspora. We're kind of hated on both sides. I want to talk about that, but I'm not going to talk about that. For the most part, there are some white people that like us. There are some Africans that like us, but there are excessively a group of Black people in Africa that don't like us. And there's a whole lot of groups of white people that don't like us. We're hated on both sides. I claim more African, though.
And I feel many Americans watching this can sympathize. So to conclude, despite only being 1% or so of Taiwan's population, it might be easy to forget them. But the Aborigines are a fascinating part of Taiwanese history and a proud peoples with great pasts. They are also plagued with social ills that continue to hurt them in comparison with the Han majority. Taiwan, like the mainland country, sees itself as a democratic nation spanning very many different races. Its government needs to live up to those ideals, and there is still a lot to do when it comes to the Taiwanese Aboriginals. All right, have a good one, everyone.
This man is the bomb, y'all. Let me tell you right now. I'm gonna put his description and this clip at the bottom of this. Subscribe to this man's channel. I listen to these people because these people do the work. They learn. I research, of course, but I was reading an article and I found this mention of this channel, and I could not stop looking at it. I'm gonna put the clip. And then you guys go and subscribe, because these are the kind of channels that we need to learn from. Facts are being spoken. Man, this was awesome. I don't know. I'm going to give you an opportunity to speak. I know I've been talking all night. Come on, Amina. Tell me what you're thinking. I'm going to put the clip out there, y'all. Come on in. I know some of y'all act like y'all don't miss me. Come on in here. Say something. Wow. Tell me what you think about what's going on. That was heavy.
Yeah.
But did you think it was going to go there, though? Tell me what you think.
I hoped it would, because Dr. Rashidi Runoko Rashidi. He had a website that Dr. Rashidi went all over the world, but I
Yes.
remember he went back to the Tamil people in India, and he went to Southeast Asia, and he went to Japan. He talked about the black, the
Yes,
black
I remember that. Yes, Dr. Rashid.
samurais, right? And
Yes.
the indigents, and showed their black past. And
Man, I should have used that. Yes,
yeah,
yes,
that would have been a great one too.
I'm gonna use that when I get the history on their Africanness, because I found somebody that said he knows somebody that have a clip, so I'm waiting for him to get back to me. So
really, all you got to also do is just look at the Buddha and look at the hair of the Buddha.
You're right. You're right.
And that's the epitome of the coil, which actually ties back to Kemet. That I learned that also.
It's amazing that what's amazing to me is that how Taiwan is now the victim. The Taiwanese people are now the victim. But you see, it's funny because you have people on that island that you're treating less than. And China wants to treat you less than. And you don't get the correlation.
It's interesting to me that China they're learning from their oppressors, the way Britain treated them. Mm-hmm. So you would think, they would learn from their sordid past.
Right.
Don't, treat people the way you don't want to be treated. Right. But I guess that, when you're seeking power, all of that goes out the window. And neither group, whether they're European, Arab, Asian, no one gets it, because at the end of the day, as long as you have the power, that's the only thing people respect. But do they really respect it, or is it fear? I don't think they respect it. I think it's fear them, because you have the power. If you didn't have the power, would they still respect you? I would say probably not. You're on mute.
Okay. I was thinking about what you said about it's fear. Mm. How does it feel, us being from the powerless seat that we are in as a people throughout the world, to be unfeared? We know a lot about being unfeared.
I have one thing to tell you.
Right.
And this is the only thing I'm going to mention about this.
Right.
While in Kemet, I was having lunch with a fellow tour, someone on the tour.
Right.
And we were sitting in a hotel in Giza, and an Arab man, clearly Arab, was listening to us talk, and he deduced that we were American born. Mm. And he came over to us, and in his broken English, he said to us, "Welcome home. Welcome home." He said it 3 times. So after they don't talk to women; they talk directly to men. And when he said it to Steve. He didn't say it to me. But when he finished saying what he was saying, he looked at me, and I just looked at him. I never said anything to him. So when he left, I looked at Steve and I said, "Do you buy that?" He says, "No." He said, they think, or he thinks that we're going to come back claiming something, like we did with Ghana, like we did with Sierra Leone. Like, they're afraid that we're going to come back claiming that land.
You know what I realized though, sis?
What you realize?
And I've been thinking about this, and I know I've been like not on here. We're gonna be having that talk about the. I know I'll be sidetracked. I need therapy, y'all. So be patient with me. Sometimes I'll talk about one thing, go into another. Okay, this whole thing about how they feel about us coming. There's a reason behind that.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, for me, I've never been the kind of person that look at things and just see it for what it is. I've always been the kind of person that if I see something that gives me an emotion, be it that it hurts me or I'm afraid or whatever, if it arouses an emotion for me, I have to go look into it. And I have to say, you know, a couple of days ago, somebody sent me a clip saying, and I shared it with you, I think, saying that the Ghanaian president thinks that Africa should get reparations.
Mm-hmm.
To be continued. We're gonna have to talk about that.
Oh yeah, I laughed at it when you sent it to me.
No, it's funny because it's like I'm like,
you're kidding, right?
No, it's like I don't know if it was an ancestor. You know how people be saying they ancestor.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was I don't know. I just was like,
the nerve.
I was watching this Haitian channel, y'all. I've been really there's so much drama going on in Haiti, y'all. They are shipping shiploads of machine guns. Not just, I mean, I'm talking about people that don't even eat. People are bony and hungry down there. You don't gotta send machine guns. Hell, you could send water guns and motherfuckers probably people will probably still fall. People are starving and struggling, and people are living off of $1, $2 a day. But I didn't have the discussion that I had set up to have about Haiti in that whole thing, because if I did, I probably would have gotten taken off of YouTube. Because what I will tell you is this. Last month, 2 big containers. You know what a container is?
Mm-hmm.
Shiploads of containers shipped from one Episcopal church in America to another Episcopal church in Haiti, full of not just guns, but the kind of stuff that you go to war with, ammunitions. I mean, shiploads, and all this gang stuff that's going on in Haiti, and this was through a church. Through the Episcopal Church. And this has been going on, y'all. This is how they bought drugs into Haiti.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how they bought these. And what broke my heart, and I'm gonna tell you something. I didn't share it because I was gonna be upset again at Africa. Because I'm gonna tell you this. They put this African man from Zambia. Matter of fact, no, I'm not going to do that, because if I'm going to talk about it, you know what? This man was the head of this situation. During the time of the earthquake, they wanted to put somebody above that, you know, in that to monitor, to make sure there was no corruption.
Mm-hmm.
So this brother from Tanzania or Zambia? God, forgive me. I think it's Tanzania. He was the person that was the head of the thing. He had gotten the job from America. He was placed in Haiti to basically keep down corruption. This man has shiploads of ammunition being bought into Haiti and putting it in the hands of gang members.
Mm-hmm.
And drugs. For no other reason other than to get the population drugged, addicted. People people don't have money, if they're only making $2 a day and you give them a gun and you're getting them drug addicted, what do you think they're going to do? What did we do in the hood here in America when they gave us drugs and gave us guns?
Kill each other, depopularize.
So that's all I'm going to say on that. And that's why I didn't have that discussion. I'm not going to talk about it no more. I will tell you this. It goes back to this.
Mm-hmm.
That money that they used to buy that ammunition and all those, cartridges of, and not just ammunition, but a whole bunch of stuff. These people, they are more geared up. And they was wondering, where are these poor gang members getting all this? The type of stuff, the type of guns that could shoot thousands of rounds. The kind of stuff you go to war with. Where are they getting that from? Well, they're better armed than the police or the military. And it broke my heart because it was a brother from the continent and a Haitian lady. She was the broker. He was the one working with the church that they used to and they've been using, because this has been going on since the earthquake.
Mm-hmm.
So right after the earthquake, they decided to hire somebody to bring guns into Haiti. So we feel so sorry for these Haitians. Look at this earthquake. No, so many people died. Let's go and bring guns over there so they could kill each other.
Mm.
All right, so
Well,
that's why this stuff that's happening in this world is real.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I don't know where it's gonna go. I don't know where it's gonna end, but I will tell you this. I wanted to share this history with you about Taiwan because it ain't about them, yo. You see these people positioning themselves for power?
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to remind us all that the root of it is that it's about power. It's about the players. And if you're just pawns, then you need to question yourself. Like, I asked an honest question when I got on here. What is our position in this? What are we gonna do when when all these people start, bucking up? All they're gonna do. It's funny because I have a discussion that's also coming up about antebellum Maryland, and that's a deep dive discussion. Those of you that like my DNA talk.
Mm-hmm.
Found some family members in deep dive Maryland, and you know me, I couldn't be on here because I was deep diving trying to figure out, and I did because that's what I do best. And got some history that I didn't know anything about. Man, it's going to be a thorough discussion. I can't wait to have it with y'all because I found out some stuff, and it's all interlinking. And it makes a lot of sense. And it also made me realize, and it's funny because I was researching war. I was researching the war that happened in York. The first war with Washington. I was researching the one in Savannah. I was researching all the wars that helped America become the power that it is. And I wanted to know, what were we doing at that time? Me and you,
Mm-hmm.
Amina, our ancestors,
Mm-hmm.
the Africans, the people that were in these here Americas. And when I talk about Americas, a lot of you don't understand this. And this is something I'm going to reiterate when I have that discussion. And I hope to see you. And please bring more people because this is going to be a great discussion. when I talk about Americas, a lot of people don't understand this, but do you know that Virginia, Maryland, South Carolina, all those places were considered the Caribbeans up until after the war. And most of the Louisiana territory, I'm not talking about just the state of Louisiana, Louisiana territory, which is, I would say about 7 to 8 states now, were all French territory.
Right.
So guess who was here with y'all fighting that war? It was chilling. But the African Americans, we were frontline, y'all.
Always.
King Louis, I'm happy you brought him up. Should I save it for the discussion? I think I will. Because we need to understand some things about the war in America. And it's funny because it's right there. And you might not see it if you're not as nosy as I am. But we're gonna go through that. I can't wait to have that discussion. I hope you guys are sharing some of this stuff that I share with you, because it's really from my heart. It's truly an indentured of love. I'm definitely doing it for love, because look at this. I work hard enough to make my channel great. So it's really an indentured of love. So please share it. I have a clip that I want to share with y'all, because I want you to understand something. China's not playing to lose. In China, this right here, the threat that was made to America, the threat that was made, and I'm very happy Nancy Pelosi stood the way she stood. I'm happy America has the balls that it has, because China has been at war with us for a minute in different ways. If you pay attention, I think the first blow was hit, and I'm gonna say this, from that thing that they put out there. All right, so I'm gonna share this with y'all, and then I'm not gonna stick around because I got to get up and go to work early, and I want to be here again. I'm gonna try to be here more often. I'm feeling a lot stronger, and I'm really. It's funny. I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna share something with y'all. The reason I haven't been on here is because I let somebody take my soul snatched. Let me explain something to you. When I say I let somebody take my soul, is I let somebody infringe upon the way that I do things on this channel. But I'm back, motherfuckers. Okay, so let's go. We're going to talk about a little bit about Haiti, because I got to rep. And I want you guys to always rep. Matter of fact, I'm going to get some t-shirts. You guys got to rep them Dessalines t-shirts. They're going to be coming your way.
Bring it.
You guys have to rep the Dessalines t-shirts, because they're going to be coming your way. So we're going to share this real quick clip. Now, I don't know if all this information is true. I ain't even going to lie to you. Found this clip, thought it was interesting. I checked the dates. They seem to be true. One thing that stood out for me was Dominican Republic and Haiti share an island, right?
Right.
You guys know that. And this is still talking about Taiwan, y'all, and China. So Dominican Republic and Haiti share an island. China approached Haiti and Dominican Republic, basically telling them not to do business with Taiwan. And we will help you. We will build roads. that leads to the shit we want to dig under the ground and take back to our homes. You know how they do.
Wow.
But, okay. But, you know, they told them that they would go build an infrastructure and invest in loans and all this other stuff. And if you do that, if you don't deal with Taiwan, and if you take our position and don't, because I don't know if you guys know this, but Haiti is one of the founding members of the Union.
Yes.
So they have a say. They're one of the 15 members that stood by Taiwan. Dominican Republic turned their back on Taiwan, chose to deal with China. That's why their place looks better than Haiti, because China gave them some. China said, they said, what? Sell out Taiwan? What? They took that grease. But Haiti, as poor as Haiti is, I'm not going to say it. I'm just going to let it. You know what? I'm just going to let it play.
Haiti, the Caribbean country which has been making...
Wait a minute. I don't know if she's copywritten, so let me put this statement out, disclaimer out. I know I got permission for the other one, but this one right here, let's do this. I hope y'all can appreciate that. Okay, so here we go.
The past few days just saw its sitting president being assassinated. Haiti was...
Let's start it over.
Haiti, the Caribbean country which has been making news for the past few days, just saw its sitting president being assassinated. Haiti was declared a free, sovereign state in 1804. Naturally, it is an old country, much older, for instance, than China in its present form. Haiti's first century of independence was characterized by political instability, ostracism by the international community, and the payment of a crippling debt to France. From 1915 to 1934, Haiti was occupied by the United States of America. Haiti is a founding member of the United Nations, Organization of American States, Association of Caribbean States, and the International Francophonie Organization. It is also a member of the International Monetary Fund, the World Trade Organization, and the Community of Latin American and Caribbean States. Haiti knows what it feels like to have been occupied by a foreign power. It knows what it feels like to be ostracized and treated as an untouchable state. It knows the pain of international isolation, which is why perhaps it is among the 15 countries which officially recognize Taiwan as a free, sovereign, and independent country. Supporting Taiwan, however, can be a life-threatening risk in the world of 2021. One country has gone rogue, and anyone supporting Taiwan seems to have a target on their back. Hi, and welcome to TFI Global, the foreign affairs and geopolitical analysis arm of the TFI Media Group. I am your host Shubhangi, and in this video, I will tell you why you must be extremely brave to support Taiwan. It's a risk which can have devastating consequences. Let's begin. Haitian President Jovenel Moïse was assassinated in an attack on his private residence, and his death was announced on Wednesday. The assassination of a sitting president and a failed attempt to take the life of his wife made immediate global headlines. Moïse, the 53-year-old president, had been ruling by decree for more than 2 years after the country failed to hold elections, which led to the Haitian parliament being dissolved. Within Haiti, gang violence has been spiking for quite some time now. Additionally, inflation has been spiraling, with food and fuel becoming scarcer in a country where 60% of the population makes less than $2 a day. Conventional wisdom would suggest that the slain Haitian president was probably assassinated by one of the many armed groups that have come to exist in the Caribbean nation. But there could be more to it. It must be investigated whether the president of Haiti was assassinated as part of a well-thought-out plot to alter Haiti's geopolitical and foreign policy outlook. We also think that the assassination of Jovenel Moïse was a stringent message by a foreign power to Haiti that their foreign policy outlook is not appreciated. And there is one major suspect. Just to put things in context, the Caribbean country of Haiti is one of Taiwan's 15 diplomatic allies. Meanwhile, the assassination of Haiti's president comes a day after Haitian ambassador Rudy Stanley.
Did you guys hear that? So the assassination, let me pause this. The assassination comes a day after, and this was told, he was told not to send his ambassador to Taiwan. The assassination came one day after. So look at the dates. I want you to look at the dates and you could go Google for yourself. 7/6, or was it 6/7? One of the 7/6/2021. This is the Haitian ambassador visiting Taiwan. He was told not to by China. All right, so let's get it back on.
Pen met Taiwanese President Tsai Ing-wen. Welcoming Pen on behalf of the Taiwanese government and people, Tsai pointed out that Haiti and Taiwan had marked 65 years as diplomatic allies in April. She noted that the cooperation between Taipei and Port-au-Prince has spanned the sectors of medicine, public health, education, and agriculture, adding that cooperation on infrastructure projects has also yielded many results. Last year, late President Jovenel Moïse had called on the United Nations to allow Taiwan more international participation, being the free and sovereign country that it is. He made his case heard during his...
So, he made his case heard as a founding member. He stood up and he made his case heard that he wanted Taiwan to have a seat. And this is something that China ain't even. China went off about that thing.
His address to the 75th UN General Assembly. Now, we all know which country has a deep grudge for all foreign powers maintaining ties with Taiwan, don't we? Intriguingly, 2 days after the assassination of Haitian President Jovenel Moïse, 11 armed suspects tried to break into the Taiwanese embassy.
So let's pause on this for a minute and have a deep dive. You know, I like to deep dive. So where do you think the suspects were hiding out at? The 11 armed Colombians that they sent, so-called sent. They say they didn't do it. It wasn't us. We had the guns. We were in there. We were there to do the job, but we didn't do it. What? Who do you think? Where do you think that they were hiding? No, they were found hiding in the Taiwan embassy, but that embassy was empty. They broke into the embassy because the Taiwan ambassadors were not there. They broke into there and they hid in particular, of all the places that they could have hid, of all the places, and I know that they would have known that would have set off alarms. It's like they were told to go there. What do you guys think? It's like they were told, when you're done with the job, you go there and we'll pick you up. Okay, so let's continue.
In Port-au-Prince, the suspects attempted to break into the embassy while Taiwanese diplomats were working from home. The embassy security guards alerted the police regarding criminal trespass. Subsequently, the Taiwanese police allowed Haitian police to enter its premises, after which the assassination suspects were arrested. Now, why would 11 armed suspects, just 2 days after the assassination of Haiti's president, break into the Taiwanese embassy in the Caribbean nation's capital? Was Taiwan being falsely incriminated? Was human evidence being placed inside the Taiwanese embassy which could connect the assailants to Taiwan? Haiti is one of just 15 official diplomatic allies that Taiwan has. As such, why would Taiwan assassinate its president? Surely it was not Taiwan. Therefore, the question becomes, was a certain foreign power trying to make the world believe that the Haitian president was assassinated at the behest of Taiwan? Now, who could this Taiwan-haunting foreign power be? Any guesses? We'll leave that to you. Meanwhile, Haiti, the poorest country in the Americas, now has no president or working parliament and 2 men claiming to be in charge as prime minister. Now, here is some additional information. China, brutalized by the CCP regime, has been trying to lure Haiti for a long time now, unsuccessfully so. In 2019, China tried to provide free assistance, interest-free loans, and concessional loans to Haiti. The condition? Haiti would have to uphold the One China principle, which means it would have to sever all ties with Taiwan. If Haiti would just have broken ties with Taiwan, China was ready to establish official diplomatic relations with it and improve cooperation in several areas, including politics, trade, public hygiene, and education. China has been trying to convince Haiti for a long time to discard Taiwan and hop on to the bandwagon of countries which follow the One China policy. Haiti, however, has been steadfast in its support to Taiwan and has resolutely continued calling on the world community to recognize Taiwan and allow its participation world over. So, a question is, was the Haitian president taken away for advancing the cause of Taiwan globally?
So I don't know, guys. Like I said, I don't know. There were a lot of facts there, though. I checked the dates. A lot of things fell in line. There was a break into it happened. The assassination happened the day after the Haitian ambassador went to Taiwan. Those things were fact checked. There was a break-in right after they did what they did. The Colombians, the 11 Colombians, they ran to the Taiwanian embassy, broke in because nobody was there, and that's where they were found. Haiti has had a 45-year relationship with Taiwan and has never sold it out. In all this time, I have to say this, there's not been a time where Haiti, as poor as Haiti is, could you imagine, as poor as Haiti is, living off $2 a day, declining on a loan from China, from Great China, that's going into Africa and going into everywhere and basically, throwing money all over the place, like they were just printing it. Maybe they are. Like, just giving everybody money and taking everybody's land and making people sign off on who they're not going to be friends with and who they're going to be friends with. And yeah, there's a lot of that too. China does that. What is that about again, y'all? Starts with a P. Everybody type power in the comment section for me. Because what this is about, it's about power. It's about power, y'all. It's about, this is a power move. So, Haiti, as poor as it is, declined. Dominican Republic right there. And it's doing so much better than Haiti. It took that money. It was like, deuces, Taiwan. Can't do business with you, shawty. Got to pay these here bills. feed these children. But as a Haitian, I can understand why the Haitian government wouldn't sell out Taiwan, because it happened to us with France. France came back and was like, this belongs to me. And France, because of France, we were sanctioned, and not just France, but America and everybody else that wanted to, demonize us. And there's a lot of people that just don't like us, because even some of the Caribbean islands, I promise you, I have a clip. I'm not going to share it, though. It's from the Belize, whatever he is, senior prime, what they call them, prime ministers, presidents. They have these different names they call it. I have one from Jamaica, too, from some representative, where these people want to distance themselves from Haitians. And it's been like that for a very long time. Because of this type of thing. Power goes into places and tell you who you could be friends with and who you cannot be friends with. And this power that China think that it has made it think that it could say the same thing to America. See, you think I wasn't going to bring it back again. I don't believe in it. I want you to believe in me like y'all believed in Tupac. That's not the line, is it? I want y'all to love me like y'all love Tupac. Okay, but that's not it. So, yeah, going back to seriousness. Power. China was exercising that power that it's exercised with Africa, with all of the rest of Asia, some of Europe, most of the Caribbean, and it felt like its balls was big enough to step up to America. I'm gonna tell you something. I mean, not like us Haitians. I mean, I know a lot of people distance yourselves from your Haitians, but you gotta love it. These people are dying. They are living off of $2 a day. There's some corrupt motherfucking leaders down there. I ain't even gonna lie to you. There's some corruption. There's lots of corruption. Matter of fact, we even got some black colonizers. Yes. Yes. But you see that president that just died? He didn't take the bait. I'm fucking proud of that. But at the same time, do you see what happens when you step to power? Now, you have to organize to step to power. You have to centralize to step to power. You have to scrutinize to step to power. Well, that's all, folks. I'm not going to be here too long. I'm kind of mad. I didn't see a lot of people. I missed so many people, but I'm very happy I finally got to see my Amina back. I'm happy that I've gotten all of you in the comment sections. Not going to be here too long because I do have to get some rest. I have to get up early in the morning and I want to be here again. We're going to have some fun. I have some good stuff coming. Tell me if you like this discussion tonight, y'all. If you want more, let me know. If there's anything that you would like to talk about that you don't think that I've covered. The only thing that I don't do is drama. Like, not the kind. I do drama like if it's political drama, or if it's drama when it comes to our history, or drama when it comes to what, we feeling inside. But the kind of drama that we just tearing each other up, I can't do that. And I think that's the kind of drama that people like, but I can't do that. And I love, love, love our history. So if there's some type of history that you want to talk about, put it in the comment section when I post this video. Go in my comment section. I have 24 people. I want you to do me a favor because it tweaks the algorithm. When we're finished with this discussion, just leave me a comment on what you thought about this discussion tonight. Share it with your friends, your family members. Let them know that I want to have more of these discussions. More of you come. I will be more than happy to, keep digging. I do this anyway. This is what I love to do. It's a part of me. I'm really excited to be able to come here and talk to you guys about it, though. So do me a favor, share the channel. Tell people to subscribe. It's for free. Tell people to share. Check it out. Get some information in some, about some spaces that they didn't know nothing about. Now, when you are hearing Taiwan and China and this incident, you have some history. You have some, if you didn't know, and some of you may have known, I don't know, but if you didn't know, now you understand a lot about what really went down, and you got a good understanding of the people that were there first, that weren't that's not even being mentioned in this whole democracy greatness that America is standing for. So that being said, Amin, I'm so happy you're back, and I'm so happy and proud of you for crossing those oceans and going into the continent. I will be sending you a link so we can have a full-on discussion and you could tell everybody about your experience.
Can I
tell me
you
what you think?
Yeah. First of all, those colors that you have on your mic.
Yes.
Okay. Guess where they are?
Where?
In the temples of Karnak.
Oh, you serious? Of where?
Karnak.
Oh, wow. Now you know I gotta go research, right? Because these are my that's my stuff right here. I got them. I have it on my wall right here. That's amazing.
When I show you these pictures,
my juju beads,
you're gonna be blown away.
That's amazing.
And we were educated on the fact of everything that you see represented in the Americas and the world was taken from Kemet. Not even tweaked. Not even camouflaged.
They didn't even try to change it a little bit. They just
not
took
at
it
all. Just took it and
relabeled it.
Yep. Exactly.
Weren't
even creative enough to alter it at all.
I am unadulterated. Not surprised, I am not surprised.
It was I broke down. I had to admit, I broke down because it was like, someone took your family and misused them. It will break your heart. Yeah. And a couple of us had those kind of cathartic moments. And it was a healing moment as well. And there were some of us that, I think for some, they just wanted to say they went, but they didn't get the full impact.
They didn't get to really take it all in like they should have.
Well, I think a lot of people rebelled from it because then it would shake everything that they've been erroneously taught.
Right.
And they base their existence on, like sororities and fraternities and bastardization of that and getting branded and,
So they were caught up on that and instead.
Entitled and westernized education. I mean, it was like a cross section. People from that, there were a woman who was a scientist from NASA, doctors, lawyers, nurses, teachers, authors, people who were IT engineers, everybody from every walk of life you would ever consider were there. These are well-educated people, but it wasn't even about that. It was a more spiritual thing, and what people were also still hinged on. They were still fighting back on what they based their sole existence on, as if to say, I'm better. But to say, you're not better, because the history that you've been lied about comes from here, not from there. So you think you've achieved something because you have material gain and because you have the westernized false degrees in some respects. Yeah, it gets you what you want materially, but it robs you of what your history, it robs you of that. It lies to you. So you think it's based off on something solid, but it's it's based off of lies. Even the staff with the snake with that shows medicine, that was Imhotep.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I've seen that in some documentaries. Yes, I saw that.
I have pictures of it.
We can't wait to really deep dive with you. Please, 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 please. I'm gonna set it all up and give everybody an opportunity to really just hear you and this
And
experience.
I'll give
Going to
you,
Egypt is one of my biggest things, and I promise you, I'm not trying to think about what I'm gonna feel like, because I just the thought of it chills me. So I know it's gonna be,
this is 30 years
and
in the
I pray
making,
that I
Gina.
get to see it, because
Yeah,
it's
I get
like
it.
I always feel like Moses sometimes. I feel like I get everybody across, but I don't know if I'm gonna get across. But
Well, I think
we'll see.
in time, with what's meant for
Yeah.
you, I think it will happen. This is 30 years in the making.
Yeah.
This is something I had planned on 30 years ago plus, I think. And so um, I didn't think I would ever get the opportunity to go either. But when the opportunity presented itself, and when Dr. Rashidi passed on last year,
Yeah.
I saw the urgency. Like, I have to go
May
because
his
I
soul
wanted
rest in
to go with
power.
him. Yeah, definitely. May his soul rest eternally forever on the wings of Ra. Yeah, I thought that was my last chance until I saw a documentary by Dr. Ben, and then I saw his protege, Ashra, and his beloved, wonderful wife, um, Mirawa Kwesi, which they have a tour group called Kemet New Tours. And they are just amazing, great people, willing to share, willing to love on us, ready to destroy the miseducation, and so that we have a history. We do have a rich and mighty ancient history that we should never be ashamed of, ever, and to turn our nose up at it. You know, um, we should never. We should be proud of the fact, and share it with as many. Everybody doesn't want it. You have to want this. You have to want to be free, emotionally,
Our
psychologically,
history is everything, and
spiritually.
it's funny because there are some people that, I guess it's easy when you turn away from history. You don't have to, there's a lot of people that's really citing that you have to turn away from history for you to be able to move forward.
Not true.
And it's funny because history is helping me move forward. That's how I
Absolutely.
feel it. It's helped me. It propels me when I sit here and if I just take things for what they are right now, I'll be thinking that I need therapy.
Yeah.
No, but if you look at history,
Hmm.
history throws you, and it makes you realize that it's not you, it's everything around you, and it's been like this for millennia. And
Absolutely.
then you start to understand the ins and outs, and you start to realize, and I think a lot of our elders, and that's another thing, and I'm happy you said that. I think a lot of our, you know, and we talk about this a lot when we talk about how a lot of our people didn't want to talk about slavery. And I think that was what was wrong, because they didn't talk about it. They just kind of moved on, and it's like they got comfortable, but they never got to a place where they understood power.
Right.
And I've just been sitting back, and we've gotten powerful. When I say that, people get confused and they start saying we became this and we became that. And I'm like, do you not understand?
I don't think so.
That's not what power is. Power is the ability to walk in a room and make people move.
Mm-hmm.
And that is something that I don't think we've ever wanted. Because we've been always the benefactor. We've always been at the end of it. So we understood the brunt of how it made us, what it did to us. So of course we wouldn't want to do that. And it's funny because the only way we present power now is to offend ourselves.
Absolutely.
Like, you know, when you think about the way that black men treat black men, or black men treat black women, and black women treat black women. We do that, and we think it's power when we're sitting there, you know, demonizing and playing mind games, and we're quick to throw each other under the bridge, and we're quick to, you know, sit there. And it's funny, I was watching, I know I'm going sidebar. I was watching this clip yesterday. There was this Haitian woman. She was on a bus somewhere in Miami. Shout out to my Zoes in Miami. Somewhere in Miami. And she was arguing with some Haitian man. And she was going in and she wouldn't shut up. And she was just going in, and the Haitian man was, you know, they were going back and forth, but she was louder. And there was a Chinese man that was sitting next to her. And it's funny that we're talking about China, but I did type in China, and and I'm always typing Haiti, so that came up, and I was like, okay, let me watch it. Haiti, it said Haitian woman and Chinese man fight on bus, and you know, I got a little ghetto in me, and I wanted to see it. So I caught it out, and this Haitian woman kept going back and forth, and she was just loud, and she was screaming at this Haitian man. I don't know if she knew the man or somebody she just met on the bus, but there was other Haitians on there, and you know, Miami got those Haitians. So you might get on the bus and not know a Haitian and be a bunch of Haitians. Shout out to my Zoes. So that being said, she was going in on him. She was disrespecting him. She was just going in. Oh, I don't deal with black people like you. She black as me and you. I don't deal with black people like you. I don't deal like I don't deal with black. And then she even said that I don't deal with black men like you. But she was saying it in my language, speaking to him. And then the Chinese man, after she was blowing up and blah, 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 disrespecting this Haitian man. And there was other Haitians in the background, people that she didn't know, because they was like, ma'am, you're making too much. You're making us look bad, and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And then the Chinese man turned around and said, why don't you shut the hell up? He said, if I was him, I would have hit you. If I would have hit you if you wasn't a woman, and blah, blah, blah. And as soon as he started talking to her, she was like, she started shrinking. And it made me pause, and I was like, God damn. She brought it down to 3. She was at like 20. She brought it down to 3. And then she was looking at the other Haitians saying, y'all should be there with me. Why y'all not standing up for me? Why? And then they was like, you showing more respect for him than you are for your own people. And while you was talking about that, it came back to me, and that's exactly what we do. We all do it. Some, you know, we all want to assert that little power. This was the only place that we were allowed to have power, was amongst ourselves when we wasn't in their presence. Mm-hmm. Some people don't like when I talk about the them, but the them makes us act the way we do towards each other, point blank. But it's not the them, it's the us.
That's right.
We have to get the them out of our heads so
right.
we can we have to figure out a way where I'm not on here disrespecting my sister, stabbing you on the back online. I'm not on here disrespecting my brother. I'm not on here, you know, I'm not being a black colonizer, because, you know, that's another aspect of it. Mm-hmm. the black colonizers. We always talk about the colonizer. Well, ain't nothing worse than a black colonizer. And so that being said, the black colonizer taught the white colonizer everything to do.
Yeah, give them agency. Give them agency. Yes.
Hey, and not just that, told them how to do it. No, do it this way, because when you do it this way, it works. And that's why in the field, they gave you the job to whip each other. That's why in the jobs now, they hire you to keep them down. Mm-hmm. It works. It still works different, you know, but it works because you know how to whip them right. But I'm not going to stay here no more longer than this. No more longer than this. No more longer than this. Y'all going to keep me on here. I love y'all to pieces. And
can I just tell you one last thing?
Sure, Mina. Sure. Sure, Mina. Take more time. I'm just
No. Just quickly.
I miss you and love you. So go ahead.
Thank you. It was the last saddening experience I had was I was at the airport, leaving Cairo, coming back to the States, and one guy was on a tour, and I know Baba had lectured about this during one of our lectures while we were on a ship for 4 days sailing down the Nile River, which was amazing, and he had an emblazoned Omega sign on his arm, emblazoned, like branded on his arm.
Wow.
And I just happened to look down and I saw this on his arm and I said, did anyone ever say anything to you about that? He says, about what? I said, what's on your arm? And he said, why would anybody say anything to me? I said, because Baba just lectured about that. And he said, well, what's the problem? I said, well, did you do that to yourself or you had someone do this to you? He says, I asked my frat brother to do it, put this on my arm. I said, on purpose? And he says, yeah, what about it?
Of course.
And I said, if you don't have a problem with it, okay. And I turned around and he said, so do you have a problem with it? I said, if you don't have a problem with it, I said, okay. And I turned around and kept, I ignored him from that point on. So again, I know even before I went on this journey, that was something that was done to our ancestors in torture. Yeah. So I don't understand. I understand sorority and fraternity. I'm part of one myself, not anymore, but I was. And I'm glad I did it before I left to go on this trip because Baba, he broke it all down. So, but my thing is, even before that, you don't know the history of what you're doing and how it's steeped in our people's torture.
Exactly.
And
and you know what? He might just be learning, sis.
But he was almost damn near combative about it.
Well, you're gonna be combative. You're gonna be combative about something that you purposely put on your skin, and somebody asking you what the hell. You're like, what?
Yeah, this is a grown man.
Yes.
He's not a child.
Yeah, he done did it. He gonna be combative about it. He owns that. That thing was something he felt pride about. Until then you a woman, and I'm gonna tell you something. Even in our Black spaces, there's that thing with women stepping up to you, telling you anything. Sometimes it bothers men, and that's the truth. And if maybe Baba would have came and talked to him about that, he probably would have had a different response. But because you a woman calling me, telling me what I'm rights or wrongs about, how dare you? You're just a woman. That was a joke, my brothers. I love y'all, but some of y'all get like that now. It's true. And sometimes it's like that. It's like with certain things, men have to talk to them about it.
Yeah. Well,
because
Baba
they're not
did.
gonna take it from you, sis. Not only the greatest men, only the most stellar of men can talk to a woman and truly hear her and take advice. Not all men are built like that. Some men are truly offended when women approach them on anything that has to do with anything that they decided to do,
And
personal or
I get it.
non-personal.
I
Yeah.
get it. I get
Yeah.
it. But I'm not the one who first brought it to be discussed. Baba did that. And I know that some of them got in their feelings and some of them got up and left the room when he talked about it.
Right.
And when he broke it down and he gave receipts for everything that he said, him and Mama both. So, shoot, you can't, the truth is the truth regardless, because it seems like when our own historians reveal the truth, they question it. But when the Neanderthal says it, they swallow it up and eat it like it's manna from heaven, So,
And there's a lot of people that, if Black people write a book, they will still go research it in white people's books to see if it's true. And I'm gonna tell you something right now. You know what it is already.
Yeah, I do.
So it is what it is, and what can we do? All we can do is throw prayers up, and I'm gonna tell you, I'm not the person I was 10 years ago. I'm not the person I was 13 years ago, 20 years ago. I'm not the person I was yesterday. And all I could say is hopefully everybody's growing at different paces, and maybe this brother, once he gets, you never know, he may get home, look at that thing. You might be wrestling with that thing. And when people respond sometimes in a way that is agitated, it's because they're already wrestling with something. Or when they question your opinion or your something, that's because they're questioning it within themselves. So they feel like they have to stand on like they're standing in this position and they need you to stand with it to justify it. So give him time. Let's I'm gonna tell you something. It's everybody is gonna be where they need to be when that time comes. And I feel like the time is coming. We're all playing our positions. It is what it is, and may the best man win. That's all I could say, because in the end of the day, I feel like everybody's playing their positions. Now, we talked about power today. It's a matter of wanting to play a position of power or wanting to play a position of, remember earlier, I told you my soul was snatched. And you got to understand something. Many of us are walking around with our souls snatched. And what that means is that many of us are walking around for different reasons. It varies. It depends on your triggers. It depends on your lack. It depends on spaces you need filled. Because you see, before someone demonstrates power on you, they first come in and they act like they want to learn from you. They act like they're intrigued by you. And what they're doing is that they're positioning themselves to study you, to know how and what you're capable of. And once they know what and how and where, they go in. And that goes back to what we were talking about. I'm happy that Nancy Pelosi got on the plane and did what she did, because it wasn't about her. It's not about America. It's not about China. It's not about Taiwan. It's about understanding, because what happened the other day, and I think this was something that we paid attention to. It's been happening. And I know, so I could hear somebody going, this has been happening. What's she talking about? It's been happening. Yeah, because people do that. Okay, yeah, it's been happening. But I think this time around, between Ukraine and this right here, our people have been more attentive.
Forced to be, yes.
Yes, forcefully. And I think we understand. I think because I even hear my children, and I see people. I see all kinds of people talking about it, like in a sense of not just saying, "Damn, did you see what happened?" Not like that. More sense of, man, and if he do that, then this might happen, and and it's exciting me. It's exciting me to see Black men getting into those types of conversations. Not too many. There's still a lot of them worrying about having power over the Black woman. There's a lot of them still focused, and they think that is what they need to do. They think that the world is not respecting them because the Black woman don't respect them, and it's quite opposite. The reason
really.
that it's first you get the money, then you get the power, and then it's not you get the woman and then you get the power. No, it's you get the money, you get the power, and then you keep your eye on the, and then everything else comes. You see the one, you got the woman, she's there. But it's not, you're not gonna get the power because you got the woman respecting you.
No.
It's not gonna work that way. But I get it. We should all respect each other. Right. I stand firm on that. I don't believe anybody should be out here disrespecting each other. But I think all this anger and all this force, this energy, pushing against, what did that man say? Politely. Peacefully pushing against the Black woman. Out the way. In some cases where I mean, it's just been, but I don't think that that's the key to power.
No, it isn't.
I think many of our brothers were wrong.
Just a bit misguided.
But no, they were wrong. They were wrong. I don't know if they were misguided. Too many of them are thinking it. So I think it's in the DNA. So it needs to be something that's it's not, you don't get women to respect you and then the whole world starts to respect you.
No, and
that's
even
not the way it works. And we should have a full throttle conversation on that.
But even on this journey, Baba showed us that when you had a pharaoh and he had his woman at his feet, it revealed that you had to come through him to get to her.
Yeah. And I love you some Lauryn Hill. Shout out to you. Yes, you can get the money. You can get that. Keep your eye on the final hour. All the Black man got to do is get your power in this world, and the Black woman gonna be like, how far?
Right.
What did that woman do when coming to America when she was on that one foot?
Whatever you want.
Everything you want will. Right. Whatever you want. Whatever. Right. Once you get that power, you're not even gonna want a weak woman because you're gonna want a powerful woman.
Right.
You see, powerful men understand that. It's weak men that are grinding. When you think about lower level men, when you think about the kind of people that want to subdue women, it's the kind of men that they ain't got nothing else. Like they got other powers above them. So they need to have these women under their knee.
Right.
Powerful men put their women right next to them.
Right.
But and be like, I dare you to touch her.
And anciently,
like she respects him. She respects him and understand that she is only safe with him. It goes both ways. But a powerful man doesn't say the world don't respect me because you don't.
No, that's
the reason the world treats me like this is because you won't. No, that's not it. But we could go into that. Not tonight.
Okay, that's cool.
I want to tell you guys something. I love you, and I want you guys to know that my intent. When you see me going like this, I'm working, y'all. I'm working for y'all. I'm doing this for y'all. So please watch my other videos when I'm not around. Share my other videos. Get your friends. Tell them. Get in here and get some history. Get in here and get some pure.
I told Baba about you and about your channel and about the things that we discuss and he was happy to hear that the conversations are being had.
That is just wonderful.
Yeah, everybody who I can tell, I share your awesome channel, your awesome love for your people, every
I
opportunity
really
I
do,
get.
man. I really do. And I'm gonna be as honest as I can be. Just like that African discussion, it's gonna be real honest. And that Haitian discussion, real honest. I have to be as honest as I could be. And I think that we all owe it to ourselves to start having real honest discussions, but at the same time, always with love.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy you had your experiences, and I can't wait to have you on here and deep dive into it, and maybe have you share some, maybe a little bit of photos with us.
Yeah, definitely.
So
Whatever you want.
we could take that walk with you in Egypt, and just really have you just tell us about the whole experience.
Whatever
But right
you want.
now,
Whatever you
I
want.
want to
Whenever you want. Just say
thank
the
you,
word.
sis. Thank you. And so I'm going to bid you goodbye, and I'm going to tell everybody in the comment section that this was exciting, y'all. And I want to tell y'all something. When I said what I said earlier, it's true. For a moment, for a brief moment in time, and I'm saying this to you, especially my Black women on here. My Black men, you pay attention to this too. Words. I'm going to tell you something. Discussions that you have with other human beings. Words. You see water? There's a Japanese scientist that says that if you talk to water, and if you say positive things to water, and you look at that water under a microscope, you could see beautiful designs of that drop of water. But if you say like fearful things to that water or hateful things to that water, you will see that water turn into something ugly and maybe even broken.
Mm-hmm.
And it's true for water. And what are we as humans?
Water.
What percentage of us is water? I want somebody to look that up and put it in the comment section for me. All my nerds. I'm not the only nerd in the damn house. Come on now. I ain't going nowhere until I see what percentage of the human body is water in the comment section. I want y'all to do the real research. I got to see a couple of numbers here, but I need y'all to go Google it and really find out.
%60 in adult men, their bodies are water.
So, what does that say about you? If I look at you and I say certain things, if I tell you this, if I say to you, you're not able to do this. You can't do this by yourself. If I say to you, you should have done this that way. Or if I say to you, certain things that make you question your direction, you become what? Anybody knows what you become? It's why, okay, you become lost. And so, because you'll double guess yourself, and maybe the direction that you were going in, which was right, you'll stop going in because you start questioning yourself. So going back to that whole, so much of our body is water. It's important that melanated people understand that word is power. What we say to ourselves and what we allow people to say to us, and what we take in from what people say to us and what we say to others. Powerful. It's true. So that being said, I want you guys to do me a favor and get this out. Go in the comment sections. I see 23 people remaining. Tell me what you thought about this discussion overall. I'll be back for more love from you. And I want to let you guys know that there is so much love here for you.
Love you
Thank
more,
you so
Nina.
much. I love you back, Nina. So happy you're back.
Thank you, sis.
I love you guys. See you guys. I'm going to be playing your music. I stopped playing my music, but I'm going to start playing my music again. I hope you guys
Good.
stick around to hear it.